Hey, Brennan here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Well, the summer is coming to an end and it is week one of college football, everybody. And I am super excited. My podcast co-host, Jason DiRienzo, he joins me on the show today. We are going to discuss our 2025 Devy boom and bust players. If you play Devy or C2C format, you're going to love this show. We're going to talk about some college players, some 2026 NFL draft prospects, as well as some 2027 draft prospects as well in this show. So it's a good way for you to get an early look at some upcoming rookies that you'll be drafting in your upcoming rookie drafts. So hit that subscribe button, help me continue to grow the channel. Been a little quiet this summer, took some time off, but fall ball is right around the corner. We are going to be putting out a ton of content on this channel, so welcome back for my subscribers out there. You've probably been wondering where I've been, but we are back each and every week. We're going to do a Devy stock report show, a NFL draft 2026 stock show as well. So hit that subscribe button. Let's not waste any more time. We're going to talk about players that we think are going to increase in value this year and some that may be a little overvalued right now. We're going to have some fun with that, so enjoy the show. Okay, you ready for our 2025 booms and busts, Jason? Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, so who's your first boom for the 2025 season?
Yeah, my first one, and this is going to feel like a bit of low-hanging fruit, but it's not because I'm gonna get a little bold with it. My first one is gonna be TJ Moore, but TJ Moore to me, he is going to be the wide receiver one at Clemson by end of season, and I truly believe that his talent and what he does this upcoming season is going to be in the same particular type of hype that we got from Jeremiah Smith last year. I think he is that good. I think he is going to showcase his ability and become one of those premier weapons and replicate maybe the type of hype that we got from DeAndre Hopkins.
I like it. Hey, listen, man, he's in my top 5, I think, in Devy wide receivers right now. So I can't really disagree with you. I think Clemson's going to kill it this year. I think they're the team to beat, really, in college football this season with all the talent that they have. So yeah, I love the call. I think DJ Moore has the definite opportunity to do that and to really take his game to the next level. So love that call. So my first guy that I want to go to is I can never spell his last name, but this is, again, I'm kind of going a little boomish here on, I've got a theory here. Nico Ameliabalia. Okay, if I bastardize that name, I am sorry. Okay, we know the Tennessee transfer quarterback is now in UCLA. And I think he has a bounce back season. I think the stock is so low on this guy. He is the forgotten Devy asset. So I'm going to have some fun with this one. I'm not going to, take a guy that maybe we already know, well, the next guy I know everybody knows. So I can't really say that, but I'm going to go like really kind of deep here on my first boom. I think that he has the opportunity to have a rebound season. And I'm kind of using an analogy and a similar player in Cade Klubnik, right? I mean, Cade Klubnik 2 years ago, you could have gotten that dude for freaking free, right? I mean, seriously, after his sophomore season at Clemson, he was written off as a Devy asset. He was garbage junk. You could have gotten him and traded him away for probably a second round supplemental draft pick in your upcoming C2C supplemental draft. So, I've been reading a lot about him, the leadership ability that he has. He's been humbled by this whole situation. And listen, the guy had the talent coming out of high school, new environment. I kind of like him getting out of Tennessee with that whole like open, wide, offensive system that they run down there. And let's see what he does with a new opportunity and see if he can't rebuild his Devy stock. So I'm going to go with Nico as my first boom this year. That, I'm not saying he's going to be a first round talent, a day 2 selection, but I think that if you got him in a C2 seed league and you're looking for production from him, I think, by season's end that he is going to be maybe back on the Devy map. He's going to definitely come back and play for another season. He's not going to the draft next year. So he's going to be a 2027 draft prospect, but I'm going to keep some open eyes with this guy and think that his Devy value is not just completely destroyed forever.
I kind of like that because every single year we have one of these guys. It was Bo Nix one year, then Cade Klubnik last year, and maybe it's Nico this year, maybe Dante Moore. But I like the theory. Like, I totally understand where you're coming from. And that is not low-hanging fruit whatsoever. So good for you.
Yeah.
My next guy is a guy that maybe you were just a year too early on because I
Maybe.
understand where you were going with it. And my guy's gonna be Nate Frazier. Like I really feel like this is the season where, he is the primary guy in the backfield for Georgia. The talent is undeniable. I like the run style. He's tenacious with fluid agility. I like the decision making, and I think there's pass catching upside with him. So I think Nate Frazier could really help this Bulldogs team with a quarterback that they are still hoping to develop and take the next step in Gunnar Stockton. So Nate Frazier, to me, he just looks like that next guy, and I think we'll be talking about him very highly by the end of the season.
I like it, man. I think it's his time to shine. We need a new Georgia
Yeah,
running back. We need a new
we
Georgia
do.
stud running back. Trevor Etienne, what do you think about his career as a dynasty asset? I mean, do you think he gets any run at all at Carolina?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of him. Like, I like the talent. I think there's a
Yeah, he was
lot
good,
there, and
man.
he showed it in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
So if he gets that opportunity, kind of like Chuba did, if it's there, I'm definitely picking him up off of waivers if he's there, and I'm doing what I can with him.
Yeah, so just a little undersized, but man, he had
Yeah,
some
but
good lateral.
it's the
Like he
new
had,
NFL. So
yeah, he had a lot of good lateral agility last
yes,
year,
he did.
for sure. So, all right, let's go with my second boom, and I'm going with Nick Anderson. Man, I'm looking here on mockdraftdatabase.com. It only took me 4 years to be able to pronounce that website, so I'm very excited for myself for that. This dude is listed as 152 mock draft. He's behind Eric Rivers. He's behind DeAndre Moore Jr., Josh Cameron, the guy from Baylor, Elijah Surratt. I think that people just, this was easy for me because I think he's undervalued still. And remember, we talked last week on the podcast about me sending a trade to Nick Marsh for Nick Anderson.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
got ghosted, dude. I didn't even
Did
get
you
a
really?
response. I got ghosted. And I don't
Mm,
know if Matt listens to this podcast, but I'm still waiting, Matt. If you do listen, okay, I'm willing to trade you Nick Marsh straight up for him. That's how much I like Nick Anderson. I think he's gonna, if he can stay healthy this year. He got in a little car accident about a month ago, but he's okay. I think this guy's going to play the X receiver, and there's not a player I'm more excited to watch. And I promise everybody, I won't talk about Nick Anderson anymore after this episode because you might be sick of me talking about him. But I think he's completely undervalued. It's what have you done for me lately? We didn't see him
right.
last year. People are forgetting about him. There's a lot of new shiny toys out there people are excited about, but I don't know. Still like Nick Anderson. I think he's going to rock this year.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for him. It's on a better stage for him to become a brand name than it was, where he came from. And I like the surrounding cast that could actually help him out. Targets are going to have to go his way if other players are being covered. So I like it for Nick Anderson a lot.
All right, so there are 4 boom players. Now let's talk about our bus. And I just want to preface this: the bus don't mean that we don't like
Right.
the players. Okay, it means that maybe they are just a little overvalued right now. Looking at Devy ranks, looking at what's out there in the market. I'll go first on this one. All right, and I want to talk about Kenyon Sadiq a little bit. All right, this guy's getting so much hype right now, and I cut up his all 22 film 4 or 5 games. He had only had 2 or 3 receptions per game, so I cut up 4 or 5 of them. And I really like what I saw. I mean, the guy is super athletic. He seems to have the size to produce, but he just showed really not a ton in the way of route running. And I'm just thinking that maybe the hype is just a little too much. I heard a guy on a podcast this week say that he could be the next best tight end after Brock Bowers, right? And he put him over
Hmm.
Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren. And I'm like, okay, time out here. Okay.
Wow.
This guy
Wow.
has just, I mean, he's had a nice season last year. And yes, the projection is there that he is going to be a future stud. And he very may well be. Hey, listen, I have a share of the guy in a C2 seed league, and I'm kind of excited. I want to see him do well. So it's not that I don't like him as a player, but I have to see some vertical route running and some, defensive manipulation. I got to see some space creation as a route runner, not getting, screens and bubble screens and dump off passes and try to get him in yak situations, manufactured touches, as we like to call them. I got to see some elite route running to be able to, 20, 25 yards down the field, creating space versus linebackers and safeties before I get excited where he's the next best tight end other than Brock Bowers. So I think we're just a little ahead of ourselves with this guy that he's already the tight end 1 of the 2026 draft. I don't think he goes to 2027. I think he's a 2027 prospect anyway.
He's gonna need that time because the NFL, the transition from tight end, is so difficult. The athletic upside obviously is there. We can't talk about it enough, but there's so much more that goes into the development of a tight end that, yeah, I completely agree that it would be good for him to be there for 2 more years, if anything. My guy is going to be Eugene Wilson or Trey Wilson out of Florida, the wide receiver. Not that I don't like him, but as I looked at
Mhm.
the film a little bit closer, I think he's a dynamic weapon. It's at the line of scrimmage, very much like not Darius Tony, but that type of role. I think he's very twitchy, and you get the ball in his hands, and he can do a lot of damage with it. But he has a very difficult time staying healthy. I think his particular game itself may not match up to some of the talent that's coming in. Like I think it's Vernon Brown. I like him in the slot. I think Dallas Wilson's going to be phenomenal on the outside. I think Jaden Baugh is going to really do a lot of damage in the run game, and DJ Lagway is going to take another step as far as I think being
Rushing.
more showcasing of
Yeah.
a dual threat, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the opportunity for Eugene Wilson to actually develop. I just don't see it as far as Devy. I'm not sure if he is going to be that particular type of role player and hype that he is getting right now. Talked about maybe as an early day two, where I've seen him go. So Eugene Wilson is my first bust, just based on value.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and availability, I mean, is really important. He had a great freshman year. I'm
Yeah.
looking at his stats here, 538 yards. He got dinged up last year, but no, I like the call. And he's an undersized. He's 5'10", 194, so he's probably really
Mhm.
5'9", 190 or something like that. So, and we
Crazy.
know we've talked about it many
Right.
times on this. The track record of these smaller receivers, especially a smaller receiver who I think is limited really to the slot with smaller manufactured touches. I mean, you got like the
Yeah,
guys like Josh
exactly.
Downs, the Colts, but they're more like vertical guys that can win vertically. And I'm not sure Trey Wilson has the speed to win vertically. I think he's going to be more of an intermediate touch kind of player. So
Mhm.
don't mind that at all. So I got another spicy one here, Jason. All right, I'm going
I
with
love it.
Caden Durham here. Okay, I'm going to say like I got two shares of Caden Durham. I like the guy. Hope he does well.
Mhm.
But I think Barry's going to get some touches this year. They lost four starters on the offensive line, so we go
Yeah, they
back to
did.
some of the theory that we talked about last year with some of these players. And Barry's going to be getting some hype, and the coach has been saying he's going to be sprinkling him in. So I think we might see a regression a little bit with Caden Durham. Still a great player. Still got two Devy shares. Super excited to have those shares. But I don't know what his projection is to the NFL. He's a little on the light side. I mean, he is short, but he's got some stoutness to him. He's a great pass catcher out of the backfield too. We saw that last year. Lays the lumber, so he plays physical for his size. But he's a 2027 draft prospect, and I just don't know. I just think that maybe he is not going to have the same shine at the end of this year that he had this year. We're going to maybe talk about a sophomore slump. And I know that they're very concerned at LSU with their offensive line. Even if last week they were still shuffling guys around trying to find the right mix. So that is a bit concerning for Nussmeyer as well.
Honestly, I was gonna put Nussmeier as a bust, and I was going flopping between these two guys. But I think I like Nussmeier's cast, and I think that that's gonna help him out a little bit. I can't deny, man, it's very look, last year I was going off the theme of losing offensive linemen and how the impact it was gonna be on the running backs. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't say I'd be concerned about Caden Durham, so I actually do think that is a good call. My guy is going to be Carson Beck, who I have seen kind of rise back up the ladder based on him going to Miami. And I think everybody's expecting him to just kind of take over and be, what Ward was there. And that's absolutely not going to be the case. But I don't think Beck has the dynamic opportunity with the dual threat ability. And I think we keep missing out on how important that is. And when I think about the cast, I don't think he's got any better of a cast at Miami either. So as much as I want to
Mhm.
see him do well and take that step that he didn't get a chance to do at Georgia, because I do think that he can throw in some tight windows. Like I do think that he has some great skills. I don't think it's the best opportunity for him to develop into an NFL type of quarterback. So for that, I have him as a bust.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that I've been reading about him is his ability. Excuse me. We talk about intangibles, right? And
Mhm.
I think there's some real concern about what kind of leader he is going to get and be in the locker room, and to be able to,
Yeah,
um,
I've seen that too.
he's just, I think he got a little, full of himself and stuff like that a little bit. So, I think he's big in TikTok and Instagram and all that kind of stuff too. But in any case, love the call. What I don't like is the fact that the 2 shares that I have may be worthless at this point as far as a dynasty asset, which is very, very concerning, because 2 years ago we thought we had ourselves the next starting quarterback in the NFL, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, but don't mind
Yep.
the call at all.